All right, what are we looking at right here? Now, that might look like just regular dirt or soil to you, but it's not. And here's the hint. This came from the same source. See those guys? And that, see that? That's wood. That's wood grain. That's wood grain. This is actually decomposed wood using Doug Wu's Keep It Simple Stupid, patented, non-patented, organically based and modeled water composting system. Boom. So basically, there's no better thing to compost with than water, because if you make a compost pile and it doesn't have water, it doesn't compost. But if you just put stuff in water, water will break it down faster than anything else. So those guys, I didn't realize they were in there. Are those locusts? Somebody tell me what those are. So anyways, this is where it all came out of. This was a big round log that I threw into that tub over there that's filling up with water. I need to go shut the pump off. Run back over here. Okay. So here's my solar power system. That 2,000 watt inverter, 30 amp hour, 12 volt battery. It's sort of small, and 100 watt solar panels from Harbor Freight. Charge controller came from Harbor Freight. This thing's pretty cool because it's got USB chargers as well as outputs for lights that come with it. And so basically this goes to this guy, and here has a pump. This pump goes up to there, was filling up that thing that, you know, I just turned off. And this garbage can, this 55 gallon drum, this garbage can, and ooh, spider webs, this 55 gallon drum are all siphon linked. See this hose? Siphon links, basically you siphon water out of one, put it in the other, and then eventually they even out. And now all these waters are at the same height because all of them are siphon linked. So basically all I'm doing is creating water storage capacity using recycled materials. Minari, soybean. Here's my Japanese timber, giant timber. I'm just reviewing. This is soy for the deer. And now, I didn't even see this guy here, but I've been eating up all the radishes, and this guy's on its side. I think this guy needs to come out. I'm hungry. Look at that funky shape. Beautiful. Anyways, all this stuff is very simple to maintain. Unlike your normal gardening where you forget to water a plant for a day or two and it could kill it, these bottom watering method has such a large reservoir, it's hard for it to run out of water. And this is probably the pot that's the tallest sticking out. And that water has gotten down sort of low, whereas I have other ones where I don't even have that many. Yeah, that's right. Oh, well, see, I just put all these other pots in. But this guy right here, okay, so this guy right here, I was trying to flood it because I didn't make this tray that holds the soil. I'm trying to use recycled materials and conservation of resources. I don't know if this is HDPE, PET, or what kind of plastic it is, but I just figured I'd try this. And so I'm trying to figure out what kind of things can grow with shallow roots. And ideally, I don't like my pots just continually submerged at the same height of the water. I want the water to ebb and flood. So actually, I need to turn the pump back on, maybe. What I want to do is raise the water level to not overflow the tub, but just high enough to touch the bottom of the soil. So that way there's a transfer, osmotic pressure upwards. Just a wicking effect through the soil. So let's go back and turn the pump back on. Now, I realize that using 12 volt pumps with 12 volt systems is way more efficient than using an inverter. Right now I'm not even using an inverter, which is a 2,000 watt inverter. It's a pretty hefty one, more than what is necessary for a pump to run here, but I don't know. So now you see the water coming out. So this power and this pumping action is generated by the power of the sun. So I have to spend the money and resources to buy and configure and set up a solar system. but then the energy for it is not dependent on the utility company. And although it would be minimal if it was, you know, right now, part of the reason I'm doing this is because I want some of these setups. I've got 20 acres out here, okay, and I'm not going to run power all over the place. And so I wanted to have the capacity to do independently powered grow ops, little things here and there, or just whatever. And even though this one's by the house, and I could have just ran an extension cord, it's just a proof of concept more than anything. So anyways, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sit here and wait for this water to fill up a little higher, talk to you a little bit more about what's going on. So now this pool, what is this mess? It looks like garbage to most people. And it sort of is. What this is an old Pampers box, I think, filled with soil. I just wanted to see what happened if I tried to grow in it with a bottom watering technique, knowing it was gonna probably fall apart. But the fact is that it's, you know, I don't think the colored inks in it is gonna provide too much heavy metals into the system. But the idea was, I'm water composting. The rest of the stuff, this stuff right here, this is actually shredded cardboard and paper. So you can see some of it right here. Okay, and so I just threw a bunch of shredded paper in there and then added water, let it sit. So cardboard turns into pulp like that. Now I could make paper out of that theoretically, if like I screened it and rolled it flat. I don't know, maybe it would dry and reform. And now that's what wood decomposes into. And so this decomposition process for this wood and this cardboard, it's probably been like a couple months. Whereas if, say, you had a compost pile, you'd have to do a lot of stirring, a lot of spraying, and a lot of mixing and just getting it right for it to decompose, if you ask me, that quickly into that form. And so what do we have over here? We got soybean plants. Why did I plant soy? Well, the reason I plant soybeans is because edamame. You can grind it up and make a paste out of it. You can also, deer like to eat it. And I bought a big bag of soy, organic soy, that wasn't made for seeds, like for growing soy, but someone on the review said they're viable. So I bought a big bag of it in bulk, and I'm using recycled like canola oil type cooking oil jugs from my buddy at Carl's Jr. He donates them to me kindly. There's some more of those jugs. And so, you know, those jugs hold about 5 gallons, in a 5-gallon bucket, or even a 5-gallon like pot nowadays. I'm thinking a 5-gallon bucket at Lowe's is like at least a few bucks. Okay, and then and then these bigger pots, like maybe something like this. Oh, I don't even know what that is. That's probably bigger than 5 gallons. They're not cheap. They add up. And so I'm like, why are we throwing these things into the waste stream when they could be reused for a valuable purpose? Especially when we've come to realize that chlorinating water was decomposing organic matter, as in plastics, is creating carcinogens, disinfecting byproducts. So now we're in the greenhouse, and there's a beautiful butterfly that's flying around up there. Some moss. This is Bug City, because I don't have any fish in my bottom watered tubs. It's creating a tremendous amount of bugs, all sorts, mosquitoes included. But if I just keep moving, they don't bother me. And all of these soil bags are unplanted, very largely. I haven't planted anything in them, and they're so tall above the water, they may need a little watering. Now this one's planted, but it was transplanted. So basically, I moved these plants from other ones, but look, if you dig into it, see it's still sort of dry. You get right there, you start seeing a little bit of moisture. So if I were to put seeds in this, it may not sprout or live. This is just a weed. It's bioremediating and sucking up nutrients. This is cabbage. So look, I tried going out of boxes. I tried going out of styrofoam floaters. Parrot's feather down there, large duckweed. Oh, I should explain. This is the parrot's feather. This is the large duckweed. I bought parrot's feather off the internet. It's common in the aquarium trade. Chickens love to eat parrot's feather. I don't know the nutritional value. I'd like to figure that out. Oh, and that's this. See, this didn't work. This guy's not happy. So let's do this. That'll make them happier. Parrot's feather is fine just as floaters, but it tends to do better if they're in soil. I think the root structure has more of a blend of surface area and nutrient uptake, because it creates a better microbial environment for the transformation of dissolved organic matter into an uptakeable form. Styrofoam. So that's one of the things. I don't know exactly how much leaching effect there is from the styrofoam, but the fact is we're growing in plastic pots and often styrofoam stuff, so I figured I'd try it. These. Okay, this is Minari. I just transferred this Minari plant over. It's not looking too hot, just because it's not looking too hot to me. It just got here. And then there's a thing of parrot's feather there, and look at this. So this is like soggy water, and that's okay for Minari, because Minari is an aquatic. Look at this one. This is just like, it's almost more water than it is soil. And I want this one this way because I'm transplanting some more Minari in there. So today I think I'm going to eat some Minari, and this guy right here I have hardly had to attend to at all. And even though it's a pond plant, my HVAC system, the condensation normally comes out this tube, and I need to fix this. I had this hose attached so I could capture the water and send it into my system, because this is siphon linked to those blue tubs and to those black containers. It's all siphon linked in one unit. So however the water is, if it's higher in one area or another, then it goes to the lower area. And so I had the pump running. Oh shit. I still have the pump running. No, I turned it off. Is it high enough? Yeah, I still want to go higher. Let's go a little higher first. Or I could just spray it on it. Okay, there you go. That's better. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go a little higher. So the idea is ideally I'd like to have ebb and flood, because plants and nature works in cycles, and typically most plants do best when it goes through alternating periods of dampness and dryness. And I think part of the reason for that is it creates a varying habitat for microbial life. Some microbes can operate anaerobically, some can operate with only operate aerobically, and then some can operate both, or to limiting degrees one or the other, or with limited oxygen. Some can switch. So now we're going to take this guy because we want to maximize our use of resources, right? It looks like the greens part was eaten. Deer probably. And I'm going to eat the remaining greens part down to the nub. And I learned this trick from my friends Mitch and Kitty, or Mitch actually is the one who told me, where he said if you just cut the top part off, like right here, and you plant this part, you can actually get it to grow back. So why waste time reseeding when I can just, this is a rhizome essentially, I guess. Why waste time reseeding when you can just do that? So I need a cameraman and tripods. So basically, since I'm doing this with one hand and I'm not washing it because it's too hard to do that with one hand, I just cut it here. Cut it like here. Okay. And the reason I cut the greens off is because one, I'm harvesting. I want to eat those greens. Whatever amount, how janky they look, I don't care. Two, too much greens with not enough rhizome will cause the plant to wilt and die. And so now, because this guy is so small, we don't want to put it in something that's dry. We need it in something sort of moist. So like this one, I didn't cut the greens off and I planted there, but this is sort of moist. Okay, now that pump needs to be shut off very soon. It's going to start flooding. So run over here, run over here, run over here, run. Hit the button. Okay, and now let's find one to put this in. I think I'm going to stick this guy in here. this one, and like so. Okay, and now because this is being bottom watered, and I have not top watered it yet, because I'm planting it like maybe when I do my seeds the first time or do a transplant, I top water it. Oh wait, you know what? There it is. Sorry. Can't see. Oh. All right, so again, recycle materials. Now, I don't like killing duckweed or pouring it onto the top of the soil. So this thing with the holes, you go down like this quickly, and then you can tilt it up. And so now I got some water with a minimal amount of duckweed. If you just scoop it from the top, you know, sometimes, and so if I wanted to, I could just. Okay, so that's the nice thorough watering that's completely saturated, and it's got to drain out, you know, eventually and dry out a little. So now we'll do these ones. These ones I just got done planting with radishes, and we're going to lose some duckweed in those. Duckweed is a little tiny floater plants. I can't remember if it was duckweed or azolla. Maybe it was duckweed, but duckweed is a great livestock feed, and it can double its mass. I think it was duckweed, don't quote me, we'll have to go look this up, every day. So if you have a lot of eutrophic, which means highly polluted with organic matter, which is not really pollution, and you know, it could be considered toxic or poisonous to well, I don't even know if it's toxic or poisonous. I don't know what happened if I drink this pond water. But to the plants, they love it. It's like free Fox Farm hydro organic. You know, it's all organic. Okay, so basically, I'm just gonna get in here. Put some water right here. Yeah, I don't. Why was I walking over there when I can just nudge it in here? Okay, so that's done, and now I keep trying to fill this thing up, and I don't really see it getting wet on top, and I don't want to water it with this because the stream of water that comes out of this is sort of like too thick and rough. So now what I'm going to do is toss that back there, and I'm going to get my custom-made DIY watering can, which is this guy, and these holes need to be increased. There's actually two of them, I see. This one's already full because it's underwater. Okay. So now I believe this container I'm holding, I'm not gonna try to film it because it's too heavy, is it was an old glyphosate container, which I don't care for. It's a genetically modified pesticide. But despite the fact, I can't water this with the phone in my hand. I'm gonna have to slow it down. But you can't see the beautiful streams of water coming out of this. And I'll show you how this works in just a second. Okay, now that's saturated. All right, so now you can see the difference. It's saturated, and all I have are just little holes that I drilled in here. These holes need to be bigger because they end up clogging a little bit, and the stream goes so slow it's sort of pain. And you can see the little bits of plastic are coming out. And although I don't care for plastic in a growing system, it's sort of like a necessary evil unless I have like a pond with bentonite clay, which I'm not in the, I'm looking for in the future. But right now I needed something to do my business while I'm getting ready to build that. Now this is bok choy. Some bugs are getting at it. And I didn't grow it from seed. I bought bok choy from Walmart, ate it, and then cut the bottom off and just sat it on top of the floater. Never watered it once in my life because it's sitting in water. I just, you know, got to make sure the system has water in it and that the siphon links are working. And that bok choy has been growing. So I think cabbages will kind of do well with a saturated root system based on that. result of that bok choy. And now what should be happening here is this tub should be slowly draining, which it is, because that hose on the right there, siphon linked to the master. I call this the master tub, because this master tub is what connects all these tubs to the rest of the system through this hose. Of course, this hose was recycled material I got from this property. It was lying around. These pots are recycled material. Look, there's a laundry basket I found in the ground. That's old pallets that I made with a styrofoam floater. Now, I don't really like the fact that it's jammed in there so tight. That was meant to go in a larger body of water. And so here we go. This is my new radish tub. I just planted a bunch of radish there. Now, these soybeans I don't really care for. They don't do in this good bottom watering method. There's only 3 or 4 inches of soil in that pot, maybe less than that one, in terms of the height above the water level. And soybeans don't like saturated roots, whereas the radish don't seem to mind as much. Well, actually, I don't know, because the biggest radishes, see, these radishes aren't growing that big. Actually, no, there was some big ones. I just already ate them. That's right. But this pot produced the biggest radishes, it seems. But notice how high it is above the water. And so I did top water it just recently, so it's a little bit wetter than it would be just from a wicking action. But the fact is that it would probably be better to have taller pots. There's always going to be a balance, because it's too tall and then it's not getting enough moisture, too low, or the top of the pot's too low, then it's going to be oversaturated. But ideally what you want is ebb and flood, like the water rises and then it drains. And see, I can't do that with a very shallow height tub, and it requires a pump. Now here's some soybeans. I haven't even tried any of these. Are like small. This is Japanese giant timber, bamboo. The reason I have this in a metal tub is to prevent the bamboo from spreading. And so I got a lot of work to do, because I've got this all started, but I haven't really tried to plant anything with intelligence, because the way I do it is I just plant the same thing in all the different kinds of environments and see what works best. Like, for example, the duckweed here grows the best because it's partly shaded. Duckweed in direct sunlight doesn't grow very well. So you learn those kinds of things just planting the same thing in all different places. But I could have probably just gone online and read up on what the ideal scenario is. But there's sometimes you learn things that's not on the internet, doing it just hands-on. So now we're going over here and we're checking up on some more Japanese giant timber that I got elevated so it doesn't spread. And now this is my rainwater collection system. Water falls off the edge and fills these tubs up. Some of them are siphon linked. Which ones are siphon linked to each other or not is dependent on their height relative to each other. Because if one's higher than another, then if one is full, another one could be flooding or empty. So I try to get them to share water, so if one has more, it evens out. And again, soybean and alfalfa, and yeah, I don't know if it's the method of watering, if it's nutrient, or if it's got like some sort of blight, the soybean, because these soybeans weren't made to be grown, they were made to be eaten. They were not sold as seed. That's just water. So there's some weeds, Paris feather. So I really don't have that much diversity of plants, and I don't have a good situation with the soybeans, because they should have grown a little. I mean, ideal scenario, I think they should be doing better than that. So I'm sort of done with the soy. I want to go on to something else. Winter's approaching, and so I'm going to be looking for things that can survive frost tolerant, cold weather type stuff. So far I've got radish and cabbage on my line. Man, all over the place there's these mole rows, like raised things of dirt, because something under the ground digs tunnels, and I think they're all living under my house because they seem to all run under my trailer. Here we go. See, now look, this is fine. Look how shallow or low the height of the top is relative to the water, and these radishes seem to be fine. They're growing all right. So I think the radishes will do well. This is Minari. A lot of Minari in there. Now, really what I'm just trying to do is not so much grow it to consume, but grow it to keep propagating. I need more and more and more. I've got lots of land, but I got more infrastructure in the greenhouse. I also started preparing for the winter and start moving plants into the greenhouse because I don't want them all outdoors. This is a big Minari plant mixed with some soybean and weeds growing around it. So I'm gonna probably shave around the edge and harvest what's sticking out, and then go in there and cut it up like a pizza or a pie, like in sections with a machete, and then transplant it into the greenhouse where we saw the water, what do you call it? Transplant it into these guys. Transplant these guys. I'm also doing a lot of testing of bioremediation, basically using biological processes and water to clean up the environment. And so these jugs were originally filled with methanol, and when I use water containers, by a rule, I never rinse them out, or very rarely do I rinse them out. I just throw out the large majority of the stuff and then add water, because I'm trying to figure out what happens. Solution is the solution to pollution dilution, because if I throw it out now, it's going into the environment. You know, it's sort of like not in my backyard kind of thinking. Well, we got to take ownership and responsibility over the waste that toxins we create. So my thought is, if I can bioremediate it through a process of heating and cooling, a normal thermal oscillation that creates different microbial habitats, and also adding into it water and a mix of decomposing organic matter, I think that eventually it just will go away on its own and there should be no residual left. And so I haven't done any testings yet. We got a spider down there. And so let's dig here, because I haven't top watered this to see where we see the water level hit. See, this is pretty dry, but see, I have wood and what do you call it? Shredded cardboard in there. So what I should probably do with these is top water all of them, because even though having to top water all of them is not what I want to do, because I'm trying to do things with as little resources as possible. I don't want to have to water my plants. I just want to check the water level of the basin, just fill one, fill them all kind of thing. But this interesting thing is, when you add water to the tops, and it moistens the soil, it creates a better convection of moisture. And so sometimes you just need to start it and it'll stay moist, but if you don't top water, it won't. You know, especially with a lot of that cardboard in there acting as an insulating layer, dry insulating layer. All right, this guy is another test. See, this is what you do with a broken 5-gallon jug. This 5-gallon jug was busted, so most people would have thrown it away. But I'm like, no, I can grow stuff out of it. See, there's a crack. So I put something here to keep the stuff soil running out, but it sort of moved around. It's gonna probably not. Oh, it's decomposing is what it is, just some paper. Doesn't matter, it's holding it up. So this needs to be planted. I haven't put any seeds there, and it needs to be top watered once after planting. Got some more Paris feather. All right, there you go. There we go. So I'm Doug Wu. I am pursuing and fulfilling my enlightened redneck fantasies. Hope you had fun. Now it's time to go inside and upload this video.